It begins in the quiet hills of West Virginia, in a small town nestled along the banks of the Ohio River. Point Pleasant, 1966. A place of simple lives, hard work, and small-town charm. But in the waning days of autumn, something happened. There's something so strange, so terrifying, that it would forever change the town's identity. They called it the Mothman. It was a cold November night when two young couples were driving down a lonely road near an abandoned World War II munitions plant, a place locals simply called the TNT area. The road was dark, surrounded by trees and decaying concrete bunkers. Suddenly, their headlights caught something alive, towering over 7 feet tall, with massive wings folded against its back, and eyes that glowed an unholy red. The creature stood in the shadows, its head sunk into its shoulders, its body human-like, but monstrous. The couple screamed, the car swerved, and the beast unfolded its wings. Rising into the air with a speed no bird could match, it didn't just fly, it chased them, gliding effortlessly above the speeding car, its eyes burning in the rearview mirror. By the time they made it back to town, pale and shaken, the four witnesses were certain of what they had seen. Not a man, not an animal, something else. The sheriff listened, skeptical but intrigued. And by morning, the story of a winged creature stalking the woods of Point Pleasant had spread like wildfire. Over the weeks that followed, more sightings poured in. Dozens of townspeople claimed to have seen the Mothman. Some described it standing in fields, its eyes glowing like coals. Others swore it rose silently into the air, its wings casting long shadows under the moonlight. A dog went missing, believed by its owner to have been taken by the beast. Hunters refused to go into the woods. Mothers locked their doors at night. The local press latched onto the story, and soon, Point Pleasant was no longer just a quiet town, it was the epicenter of fear. A place haunted by a monster that seemed to defy explanation. Reporters gave it a name, inspired by a comic book character popular at the time. But the sightings were only part of the mystery. As the months went on, Point Pleasant was plagued by strange phenomena. People reported strange lights in the sky, UFOs darting silently above the hills. Others spoke of phone calls filled with eerie static and voices that didn't sound human. Some residents were visited by strange men in black suits, warning them not to talk about what they had seen. Fear twisted into paranoia, and paranoia into hysteria. And then, 1 year later, tragedy struck on December 15th, 1967. The Silver Bridge, a vital structure connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio, collapsed during rush hour traffic. 46 people plunged into the icy waters of the Ohio River. It was one of the deadliest bridge disasters in American history. In the aftermath, whispers spread quickly. Some claimed the Mothman had been seen near the bridge in the days leading up to the collapse. Others believed the creature itself had caused the disaster, its presence a curse upon the town. And still others began to see the Mothman not as a monster, but as a harbinger, a supernatural omen warning of impending doom. The connection between the Mothman and the Silver Bridge cemented the legend. It was no longer just a local curiosity, it was an American myth. But what was the Mothman? Theories abound, each more unsettling than the last. Skeptics suggest it was nothing more than a misidentified bird, perhaps a sandhill crane or a barred owl. But witnesses swore its size was far too great, its eyes far too unnatural. Others claim it was a mutant, a creature born from the toxic remnants of the TNT plant. Still others argue it was something extraterrestrial, a visitor from beyond the stars tied to the UFO sightings that plagued the area. And then there are those who believe the Mothman is not flesh and blood at all, but something spectral. A phantom, an omen, a being that emerges only to foretell disaster, drawn to human suffering like a shadow before the storm. What makes the legend so powerful is that it has never been solved. The Mothman remains a mystery, half folklore, half nightmare. Point Pleasant itself has embraced it, building statues and museums, turning fear into identity. But beneath the festivals and tourist attractions, there lingers an unease. Because for the people who were there in 1966 and 1967, the memory of those glowing red eyes has never truly faded. Imagine driving alone at night, the dark road stretching endlessly ahead. You glance into the trees, and there it is, tall, winged, watching. Imagine standing on the banks of the river, knowing that 46 lives were lost in a single moment, and hearing whispers that a creature had tried to warn them. The Mothman is not just a story. It is a reminder that some mysteries refuse to be caged by logic, that some fears cannot be explained away by science or skepticism, that in the quiet corners of America, in the hills and forests and forgotten towns, there may still be things waiting to be seen, things that watch us with eyes that glow in the dark. And so the legend endures. The Mothman of West Virginia remains one of America's most chilling cryptid tales. A story that has haunted generations. Was it a monster? A messenger? Or something else entirely? We may never know. But one thing is certain. If you ever find yourself driving near Point Pleasant late at night, and you feel the hairs rise on the back of your neck, look to the skies. Because perhaps, just perhaps, the Mothman is still out there, waiting, watching, and reminding us that some mysteries never die.